I'm jumping in today to talk about COVID-19 and your career. Today, I am going to focus on the job search aspect. Can you keep your job search moving forward, or how do you keep your job search moving forward in the midst of coronavirus? So let's talk about a few things related to that. But before, in case you're not familiar with me, I'm Christy Noel of ChristyNoel.com and the co-author of Your Personal Career Coach, Real World Experiences for Early Career Success, coming in July of 2020. So, but today we are in the midst of COVID-19, a pandemic. We're all hunkering down. There is a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of stress, there is a lot of job fluctuation. People are losing their job. People don't know if they're going to be able to keep their job. People who have been looking for work now are maybe feeling even more nervous and confused about what's going on. And I totally understand that. And I totally get that. So we're going to try and give you some tips to keep that job search moving in the midst of all this craziness and uncertainty. So but first of all, if I often get asked about, I really hate my job, I want to leave it, and should I leave my job and look for another job? The answer is typically no. It's always better to have a job while you're looking for a job, and during what's going on right now in the worldwide economy, I think that advice is even stronger. So even if your job is very frustrating or not fulfilling or not the job that you want it to be, and painful in some ways even, and I hope it's not. But if it is, then I would still say hunker down and can look for a job while you've got it, because not everybody is that lucky at the moment. And with all this uncertainty going forward, it's best to at least have that job while you look to see what else you can find. So whether you are in a job and looking to find a new one or change course, or if you are currently looking to expand into a job or a different industry, here's my thoughts and tips on how you can best do that during this time, especially if you are spending more time at home like most of us are. So first and foremost, I would say your LinkedIn profile. Use this time to update and optimize your LinkedIn profile. And by that, I don't mean just filling out your job title and your past positions and making sure you have a picture. All of those are important, but to really optimize your LinkedIn profile, you need to take it further than that. So make sure you have a great picture of just you, a professional looking photo. Don't crop somebody out, even if it's your favorite picture ever taken. Should just be of you. Usually from the shoulders up, why they call it a headshot. A light background in the back so it doesn't distract from you is always a good look. But more than that, for the description, I would recommend don't just putting your current title, use that. You have quite a few characters, so use that to be able to put in some of your skills or your experience, what makes you unique. And especially if you don't have a current position, that's a great way to make you look really marketable and really showcase your experience. You do want to put in all your current positions and past ones. One of my pet peeves is if it's the current position, use present tense. If it's a previous position, make sure you use past tense. So people often go in and update it, and then they don't go into their old jobs. They just change the date and they don't change the description to make it past tense. So, but more than that, and you guys, anybody that has heard me talk or read any of my blog posts, you know this is a big thing of mine, in that you should make sure it's not just a job description on your resume or on your LinkedIn profile. Make sure you put in your results. What did you achieve in that position? And if there's stats or impact metrics, or if you can show how much revenue you saved, how many sales you made, a percentage of increase, all of that is super important to include on your resume and your LinkedIn, because that shows that you had results. And when a recruiting manager or a hiring manager or a recruiter looks at your profile or your resume and they see those results, they're going to know, hey, they did it for them, they can do that for me too. So again, lengthy job descriptions are usually not needed unless there's a real disconnect from what your title was and what your job description is, or if it's a unique title and somebody doesn't know what it is. But if you're an SEO manager or you're a marketing manager, you don't need to spend a whole lot of time describing your job, but spend that time describing what you did and how you succeeded in that job. And then LinkedIn has the About section where there's a summary, and you can spend a lot of time here. A lot of people either skip that completely or just put in a brief description or two, but you can really use this section to tell about yourself and what's not on your resume. So maybe this is where you're going to get into more of that you have a unique eye for marketing, and you can, spot trends ahead of time, and you can, know what's consumers are going to want, things like that that are just not typically on your resume or on your LinkedIn profile. Shows your personality too. So if you're fun, or you got a wicked sense of humor, or you are really great with people, this is an opportunity to, in that section, to really flesh it out and show more of your personality and give more information. Your education, your volunteering, getting references, all that is important too. So we could do a whole another part on LinkedIn, but just really make sure you're focused on those sections, get those all nice and buttoned up and up to date and keyword optimized. So knowing what kind of industry or what kind of position you're going to look for, then make sure that the buzzwords and the important things of what's going to be in that job description or in the role that you're looking for is in your resume and on your LinkedIn profile. So keyword optimization. And on your resume, most of that my advice on LinkedIn applies to your resume as well. I'll tell you a couple. So 1, update your LinkedIn profile. 2, update your resume. And same thing, make sure your jobs are up to date, make sure that you have past tense on the previous jobs, current tense, that's not the right word, I don't think. Anyway, you know what I mean. For your current position, focus more on results and success metrics and impact metrics, less about the job description. And then I'm not saying avoid the job description, I'm just saying maybe not as much real estate as the impact metrics. And then that's because that's what, as a hiring manager or recruiting manager, that's what I'm looking at. One of the key things for resumes that a lot of people overlook, and that is kind of a summary of what you and your experience is. I don't like an objective. I don't care what your objective is as a hiring manager, but if you use that as a qualification summary and you could tell me all the things that in a succinct section, because I'm going to start there and look and see, does she have SEO experience? Does she have pay-per-click experience? Does she have social media marketing experience? Does she have, all the things that I might be looking for in a new marketing manager? Email experience. So you can put that in your qualification summary right there at the top. And this is a great place to optimize for keywords, because all those keywords that are going to be scanned when they're looking at your resume, they can put nice in there in that section. Plus it gives a nice overview of who you are and what you do before we dive into your resume and your positions. Make sure I didn't miss anything that I want to talk to you about your resume. 2 pages maximum, even if you've got experience longer than that, keep it to 2 pages. If you are young and you have enough experience to keep it on 1, great. If you are older and you have experience for 2 pages, stop it at the year 2000. If you go back further than that, it's probably not applicable at this point. That's 20 years, and it will start to show your age, and there unfortunately is a lot of ageism out there, and we don't want to give anybody a reason not to at least have that interview with you. So 2 pages, not any, sorry, dogs, not any experience past the year 2000. if anybody doesn't know, I'm also a volunteer for a dog rescue group and a foster mom, and they have been quiet all afternoon. Of course, now they're not. What is your advice for somebody attempting to completely change industries, hospitality to administration roles? Hi, Desiree. So you can, so both on your resume and your LinkedIn profile, you're going to have to do a little bit more work because your positions will not line up perfectly when you're trying to change industries. But that's, again, where your impact metrics and your success metrics will be so important, because you'll be able to demonstrate that you had achieved success in the role that you've had. And then I would take the job responsibilities that align up the best and focus on those. So even if your job description, you were in charge of some great things, but they don't apply to the new industry, you might want to stay focused on the areas that are the closest matched. And my other tip for you, specifically in changing industries, leads to my third point of using this time or continue your job search moving forward during COVID-19 and your career, is the cover letter. And a lot of people overlook the importance of the cover letter and think it's an optional aspect of job hunting, and I will say that those people are wrong. It's really important, and it is the best way for you to explain things that are not easily explained, like I am trying to change careers, I am applying for a job at a different state, and here's why that I'm doing that, why I have a gap perhaps in my resume, or anything like that that is not easily explained in a resume. As a hiring manager, if I don't understand, well, this person's in Washington and I'm in Los Angeles, the job's clear in Los Angeles, I don't understand why that they applied then, so I'm going to just pass on it. So the cover letter is a great place for you to explain that, or the change of industry. So do write a cover letter. I would say, just like your resume, and your one size does not fit all. So you can start with your template for a resume and a template for a cover letter, but then you're going to still want to modify it for each job. And by that, you'll be able to focus on the things that are important for that position and some of the keywords and key responsibilities. Make sure those are really highlighted in your resume, and make sure those are highlighted in your cover letter. And again, use the cover letter to explain what anything that's not clear on your resume, and then use it as a way to show how enthusiastic you are for the role, why you are a perfect fit, why you're interested in the company. And I don't really love starting off that I'm applying for this position. That's usually implied, but you can jump right into why you are perfect for the position and why your experience aligns so perfectly, and then go into it and do some highlights. Again, I love key metrics and impact metrics and successes in a cover letter as well. And then that leads greatly into the resume. So again, LinkedIn profile 1, resume, get that up to speed 2, and then write your cover letter template number 3 if you don't already have one. And you will use for the resume and the cover letter, you will modify those for every position. LinkedIn usually stays the same. You don't normally change that for the position because you never know when anybody's looking and when. But I would say that to make sure your LinkedIn profile and your resume look the same. They don't have to be verbatim, but job titles should match, dates of employment should match. You can go into more depth and time spent in evolving on LinkedIn, because they usually give a lot more space than the 2 pages, but they shouldn't be anything that somebody is going to look at and say, this, I don't understand, the dates don't match, or the positions don't match, or something like that. The 4th tip I have during this time is to explore expanding your education, online courses, doing some studying of skills. So if there's anything that you're missing that would make you more marketable, then you have the time potentially to be doing an online course, doing some studying, doing some more exploration. Maybe you can volunteer to help somebody who maybe needs some additional help but can't afford it at this moment, but you can get the experience. My library card gets me access to books and videos and audio for free. So if you have a library and a library program that has something like that, it's not exactly online courses, but there's still a lot of books you can read, manuals, coursework guides and stuff to further explore and study and get some more experience and some more skills that you can use on your resume to show that you have maybe not as much experience, but you have coursework and understanding through studying. Anything that can make you more marketable is always a good thing. Then I'm not losing track. That was number 4. Number 5 is network. This is actually, I believe, a really great time to network because people are working, they're working from home, they have more time that they're not spending commuting or in meetings, and some of the other things that are taking up our time when we typically go to the office, hair and makeup for me. So if you're not already leveraging your network, this is a great time to do that. So you can make connections, you can do some research on LinkedIn to find new connections, either through companies that you're interested in working for, through industries, through positions of somebody whose skills and experience might line up to something that you might be interested in. You can reach out and try to make an introduction. I like to use my friends and my network to make an introduction for me. So I use LinkedIn and I think, that's the person I'm interested in meeting with. Who do I know that knows them? Can I ask them to make an introduction for me? And then I can take it from there. If you already have a network, but you just haven't reached out, you haven't touched base with them, or you haven't really warmed up, this is the time to do it. It's a lot easier for people to help and jump in and want to support you when they already have a great relationship or warm. It's not a great feeling when you haven't heard from somebody in 3 years and next thing you know, they want you to submit your resume or be a reference. So work your network, a little bit every day. I know it can feel overwhelming to have to network sometimes, but again, this is a great time, I believe, because people might have more time to be able to be responsive and to spend some time having an online chat or a Zoom call or a phone call, and to be able to see how you can get some introductions or and if you are looking for job leads, be very specific. Not just, hey, I'm out of work. Who do you know? But I'm out of work, or I'm changing careers, or I'm looking to get into this field. Do you know anybody that would be good for me to speak with? Which is a much better approach than, do you have any job openings or anything like that. Another great tool is to ask somebody to be a reference. So then they know you are, let's say, hi, I'm going to be expanding my job search. I'm really interested in getting to this new field. Do you have will you be a reference for me when the time comes? And I like that approach because it lets them know you're looking. They're now involved in your job search. They're going to be supporting you by being a reference. So they want to help you and support you. And then you're now top of mind if they do hear anything, but you're not asking them to, give me every, job lead you have. So asking for a reference. So work your network, reach out, make a couple contacts this week, maybe 2 a day on LinkedIn, and maybe reach out to 2 other people that you've already are your contacts, but you haven't talked to in a while or touched base. You can just drop them a note and say hello. You can send them an article that you thought might be interesting. You could ask how their family's doing, or if you have a common interest as far as hobbies or a runner or something like that. Just again, it doesn't need to be long. It doesn't need to be a full update of where you are in your life and what you've been doing for the last 2 years. But hey, I saw something, I thought of you, and I just wanted to check in and see how everything's going. And hope you're doing well and staying healthy during this, global pandemic or something. And then my last tip tonight is to expect when you get to the point of having a job interview that it will be virtual. Because we are in the time of COVID-19 in your career, everything is going to be virtual for the time being. So you're going to want to think about preparing for a virtual job interview. So you might want to get used to looking at the camera and making sure you have a background that you can be up against that's not too crazy or confusing. Do a better job than I did of having your dogs out of the room and not barking. And basically practicing, looking and being comfortable having a conversation and a job interview online. And we'll probably cover that more later down the road too. So again, while you've got this time and to keep your job search moving, update your resume, work on that, create a cover letter, get your cover letter template started, update and optimize your LinkedIn profile, take any online courses or studying or research, industry or skills that will make you more marketable, and work your network. Start getting your network more primed and warmed up so that when you need them, and maybe you need them now, so maybe you're a little behind the ball, so it's not too late. Get started and getting everybody aware and of what you're up to and that you're out there, and then they'll be able to support you when you need it. I'm going to be going live on Sundays. Next week, we'll either cover virtual interviews or working from home. If you have a preference, let me know, and I will work that in. If you want more information, then please check out christynoel.com. I've got some blog posts and articles on a lot of this that we covered. And again, the book is coming out. I don't even have a copy because it is it's doing a better job right now holding my computer up than being able to show you. But we're excited about that. So for now, I don't think I have any other questions. But if you have any, please send them my way and I'll either address them offline or we'll work it into the live next week. And have a great week and stay safe and healthy. Thanks for being here.